United Nations recently reported that Nigeria's housing sector is in crisis due to various factors contributing to the non-availability of affordable housing and increase in slums across the country. Also, a quick look at the 2020 proposed budget for the Ministry of Works and Housing shows that out of an allocation of 287.2 billion naira, a sum of 17.5 billion naira was set aside for the National Housing Program. At what points will the problems of housing affordability be addressed? What is the way forward for achieving affordable housing in Nigeria? We'll bring you details of this and more on the program today. My name is Nomso Thelma. Thanks for tuning in today. For now, let's hook you up with our news desk. The program returns shortly. Federal Capital Territory Administration and Nasarawa State Government are in talks to set up a joint development commission that will foster a strong economic relationship between the two parties. Under the arrangement, the two parties will harmonize development planning, financing, as well as accruing revenue sharing from the proposed rail, roads, and other infrastructure joint projects. This was disclosed by the FCT Minister, Malam Muhammad Musa Bello, when he received the Nasarawa State Governor, Abdullahi Sule, in Abuja. The FCT and the Nasarawa State Government share equal boundaries, linking the federal capital to the several northeastern states of the country. Dr. Hanatu Adamu Fika, the Executive Secretary of the Federal Government Staff Housing Loans Board, has revealed that nearly 40,000 public servants now own houses. According to her, when she assumed office, the data of people who had received loans was not there, but she has made sure to establish a data of those who have benefited from the Federal Government Staff Housing Loan from the first person in 1952 to those who are going to get this loan this October. She said when she came on board, the number of public servants that received loans was very negligible, but that has changed as the board has recorded almost 40,000 public servants who are proudly owners of their own homes. President Buhari has mandated the Federal Capital Territory Administration (FCTA) to build at least 5,000 affordable housing units for workers and other Nigerians residing in the Federal Capital Territory. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Muhammad Bello, who made this disclosure in Abuja during an inspection visit of the ongoing NLC and TUC mass housing estate at the Apo district of the Federal Capital Territory, said the provision of affordable housing for workers was one of the cardinal objectives of the Buhari administration. The FCT minister, accompanied on the inspection visit by the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, Ayuba Waba, restated the commitment of the FCT administration towards the provision of affordable housing for workers in the Federal Capital Territory. Although the Nigeria real estate market has continued to witness improved activities from last year's performance, a new report released by Northcote has shown an increase in the vacancy rates. In the half-year report known as Nigeria Real Estate Market Review, released at the weekend, Ikoyi and Katampe in Abuja topped the list of residential vacancy rates in the country, with 41% and 37% respectively. Also, Victoria Island had 23%, followed closely by Lekki with a 22% vacancy rate. In his summary of the report, Northcote Chief Operating Officer and Director, Real Estate Research and Advisory, Lagos, Nigeria, Ayo Ibaru, noted that the demand for property assets will continue to mirror general market conditions, fueled by the efficiencies gained through technological advancements. Welcome back from the news desk. For more news, you can visit www.africahousingnews.com. Don't forget, you can also subscribe to Housing TV Africa YouTube channel to get more information about Nigeria's housing sector. Now, it is hard to argue that housing is not a fundamental human need. Decent affordable housing should be a basic right for everybody in this country. How well have we progressed towards achieving affordable housing in Nigeria? What are the problems that need to be addressed to achieve affordable housing? Let's hear more from stakeholders in this report. Quite fundamental to the attainment of affordable housing goals in any nation is for stable housing policy, presence of political will, and proper implementation of sustainable housing policies. For a country to meet its affordable housing expectations, there must be a stable macroeconomic environment. In Nigeria, the situation is not helped by high inflation rates and nominal interest rates. Not only does a volatile economy like Nigeria reduce affordability of mortgages, but also affects the supply of funds and the types of mortgages offered by lenders. In this report, some stakeholders in the Nigeria housing industry speak on ways to address the issue of housing affordability in Nigeria. Brigadier General Tunde Reyes, retired, the president and founder, First World Communities, says there is need to come up with policies that will address the affordability issue, which is the biggest obstacle to large-scale delivery of affordable housing.
We need to come up with policies that will address the affordability issue, because affordability is the biggest obstacle to large-scale delivery of affordable housing. Even where developers have capacity to deliver large number of houses, the fact that off-takers cannot afford them will not help them to progress to another phase. So if we can find a way to create policies or products or an environment that would bridge that affordability, then we will start to unlock other possibilities in the housing industry.
Dr. Hannatu Adamu Fikar, the Executive Secretary of the Federal Government Staff Housing Loans Board, says the CBN should work towards making mortgages available at single-digit rate.
What we are appealing to government is to create a conducive environment to encourage the Central Bank of Nigeria to talk with the banks, as it happens in all countries of the world, because any company that is into provision of mortgages for citizens of any country, loans are supposed to be given to these companies at single-digit rate, so that it will impact on the delivery of houses.
For the Managing Director, Nigerian Mortgage Refinance Company, Kehinde Ogundimu, he says there is need to sort out the cost of funds itself, how people borrow to own houses, how much they pay on their interest.
We also now need to sort out the cost of funds itself, which is how people borrow to build the houses, how much they pay to borrow to build the houses, or how much people pay on their mortgage as interest. So that cost is also very essential. So by solving the cost of funds problem or issue, you solve the cost of the houses itself and you solve the affordability on the other side. So the houses become cheaper and then people are able to afford to make their mortgage or monthly payments because rates are down, the cost of fund is down.
The gap between supply and demand for housing is an issue for the government to address in order to provide housing at a cheaper rate, which is the basic need of man.
I'm Leilani Farha, the UN Special Rapporteur, and I hope you'll keep watching the Housing Development Program.
Welcome back. Now, still on the issue of achieving affordable housing, the 2020 proposed budget shows that an allocation of 287.2 billion naira was set out for Ministry of Works and Housing. Will this reflect positively in improving housing projects in the country? Let's hear Nigerians speak.
Since Works and Housing have the highest budget proposal, I want to believe that if the allocation is actually released and properly harnessed and managed with the right intentions, then we'll go a very long way. There are a lot of persons, even civil servants, that do not have houses of their own. And I think that if these things are properly put in place, it will go a long way to solve the problem of housing and accommodation, even here in the FCT and in Lagos and other big cities of the country.
What we need now is much more of mass housing, affordable housing. We need to introduce more simpler and indigenous housing practices. And secondly, accountability. It's not just a matter of we have materials, we have things to use to do it, but how to package them well.
The challenge people are having here is housing. So if there can be a situation whereby the Abuja sector is turn around with this budget. This budget is about 100% more than the other budgets, you know. And if the minister like Fashola, who has a direction, can go through this tenaciously and make sure Nigerians feel this housing policy, and with the Federal Mortgage Bank by the side, I think we'll fly. I believe. I also want to pray that for the first time, this policy, this change should affect the ordinary Nigerian.
The only problem there is the people to implement the policy that will make it work. If not, the government meant well for the development of housing and works for the country. So it's just the people behind those that are going to implement the policies that will rely on.
Latest couple in town.
Good day, sir.
How are you? Oh, sit down, sit down, sit down.
Thank you, sir.
Drinks?
No, we're fine, sir.
How was the moon experience?
It was quite an experience.
How about house?
We are renting at the moment, but we intend to save enough to own our own house, right?
Why not avoid all those Shylock landlords and own a house up front? With the average income and cost of building houses today in Nigeria, mortgage is the best option. No sweat. I tell you what, that was how I got my first house, and I've never regretted it.
To make good homes, and by implication, a good society, an individual is expected to have an abode from which to take off and return at the end of each day. At the Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria, everyone deserves a home. Come join us at FMBN and let's shelter Nigeria together.
Glad to have you back. Now, the issue of unoccupied houses has been ongoing for a while now, with some reports linking these houses to criminal activities and money laundering. Today on the program, the president of Redan, Surveyor Ugochukwu Chime, tells us what Redan is doing in collaboration with the EFCC to manage the situation. Join me after this time out.
One of the most prominent features of your house is your roof. Your roof will tell how old your building is. At Plus World, we pride ourselves in having the expertise and products to bring your roof back to life. While other roofing companies suggest removing the roof, we restore the roof with warranty assurance. Let Plus World Roofing recoat your old and fading roofs and make your roofs brand new. Our products are eco-friendly and completely harmless to human and the environment. We offer services that will sustain your roof's integrity and by extension, your property value. This includes roof repairs and maintenance for residential, commercial, and industrial properties. Our roof restoration solution saves you up to 70% the cost of replacing your roof. Contact Plus World Roofing today. Plus World Roofing. Why re-roof when you can restore?
Welcome back. If you were just joining us, the program is Housing Development Program, and with us in the studio today is the President, Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, Reverend Surveyor Ugochukwu Chime. Thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you so much.
Now, sir, the issue of unoccupied houses is becoming worrisome, especially with the recent report from the UN Rapporteur to Nigeria. A lot of people feel real estate is being used for money laundering and other criminal activities. As the President of Real Estate Developers Association of Nigeria, what is your association doing about this?
Thank you so much. The reality on ground is that no sector of any economy or any nation that is not susceptible to attack of people who want to launder money or people who want to use it for other nefarious activities. But it behoves on the stakeholders to put in place a mechanism and enforce it to ensure that they limit, if possible, the areas whereby there are loopholes in the system. Real estate was rated as a medium-high risk area in terms of money laundering and terrorism financing. And that is not good enough, because it has its huge implications for all the people in that sector. So what we have decided to do as REDAN is to cooperate with SCUMO, an arm of EFCC, to ensure that we put in place within our own jurisdiction areas of making sure that we whittle down whatever loophole that is available on all the aspects of the value chain of real estate sector, both from supply financing to demand financing, so that we can put in place a mechanism that will have KYC, we know who you are, and unveiling, if it's possible, of companies that operate in the area. And that is what we have done with them. Currently, within REDAN, you cannot be a member of REDAN unless you subscribe to comply with and adhere to the tenets of the Anti-Money Laundering Act 2011 and subsequent developments and policies in that regard. Many of the developers enter into trouble without knowing what the law says, and that is why, for instance, in the next month, 14th of November, we're having a seminar on a wide range of issues. We'll have that in Abuja on 14th. On 20th, we'll have that in Lagos. On 28th, we'll have it in Owerri. So that all the developers, whether you're a member of REDAN or you are not, we invite them to come. We're going to publish in the papers the venues for all these activities, so that we're able to educate them on all the current financial policies, and we're able to educate them on all the anti-money laundering and anti-terrorism financing policies and implementation protocols that are available both at the national level and at the international level. We're able to educate them also on the government effort currently to be able to use the real estate as a veritable tool to create employment and as a veritable tool to jumpstart the economy, because every development is on land. So that is what we are trying to do.
Thank you very much, sir, for this clarification.
Thank you so much.
That was Surveyor Ugochukwu Chime, the president of REDAN, speaking on what the association is doing in collaboration with EFCC to stop criminal activities in real estate. The program continues right after this break. To stay with us.
I'm Debbie Erb. I work for OPIC in the United States, and keep watching the Affordable Housing Development Program.
You are still watching Housing Development, and on our Own a Home segment this week, let's hear from one of Nigeria's most reputable developer, Urban Shelter Limited, on their best home offers. Take a look at this.
Urban Shelters project is easily broken down into a few categories. I think the bulk of our operations is centered on providing residential homes. When it comes to residential homes, we look at it really as a sense of responsibility in terms of providing homes to Nigerians, to individuals, to corporates, to even kind of civil servants as well. The range of products we have in the residential goes all the way from affordable, starting end, to intermediate, and all the way to the high end. So we have housing products beginning from about 4 million naira all the way to 250 million naira. In particular, we are at the moment covering 40 hectares of land all across Nigeria. In Abuja, we have the Promenade Estate, which we have delivered, and people are now, very comfortably living in over the last 6 months, the Promenade 1. In addition, also, we've got the Saronia Estate. Saronia Estate is based in Lugbe. It's over 11 hectares. It's a few minutes to the New Navarre ShopRite Mall. So it's really well placed in terms of its residential access, in terms of also, I think, some of the facilities in the area for really providing kind of holistic living. I think that's the approach. We're also aiming that into the affordable to intermediate range. It's a wonderful estate. The location is kind of very accessible off the highway on the airport road. We have Life Camp. Life Camp moves us into the higher end of the spectrum. Life Camp is, I think, one of our iconic projects. It's Bellevue Residences. We have phases 1, 2, and 3. We like to do our projects in phases so that we can take account of how clients feedback, how they're feeling about the property, if there's changes we need to make, to really respond to the fact that we're catering to the needs of our clients. So Bellevue has been iconic. It's been iconic in terms of the planning. It's been iconic in terms of just the design of it. It's been iconic in terms of the landscaping. It's been iconic in terms of the kind of quality, the finishing, the attention to detail on it as well. So it's, it's a hallmark project for us.
Urban Shelter Limited has been working in the past year to develop a flexible payment plan that would allow its client to key in easily. We have analyzed and reviewed the tremendous issues and challenges associated with the mortgage in Nigeria, and we thought that defining a flexible way for people to own a house is the way forward. In doing so, Urban Shelter developed the Stay and Pay program that allows you to move into your house and continue paying while you live into the house. So we thought that that could not only allow you to pay your house while living in it, but will also allow you to stay away from paying rent while you're trying to acquire a house. The Stay and Pay also, depending on the projects, gives you a flexibility to pay over 5, 6, 7, or even 10 years. We thought that it could be a tremendous instrument that would allow people to acquire more and to really afford more in the premise of getting a house. It's project specific. The payment term on the years vary on projects, but it does go across the entire projects that we offer in Urban Shelter. Urban Shelter Limited is located in Wuse Zone 5 at Shippers Plaza. It's very accessible. We are open literally 6 days a week. Our website, urbanshelternigeria.com, is really good resources to access to Urban Shelter, the different products that Urban Shelter offer, to get more insight. We do have general numbers that will be available for people that would like to reach out to Urban Shelter.
Housing Development Program is all about making a case for the attainment of affordable housing in Nigeria. For our housing industry to attract more investors, much needs to be done in the area of passing into law various outstanding bills in the National Assembly. For all the National Assembly members that are watching this program, let's show you outstanding bills that are in the National Assembly. There are a number of outstanding bills in the National Assembly, either in need of a review or introduction to facilitate rapid investment in the real estate sector, which will in turn drive the economy. Here are some of these critical policies. The passage of foreclosure bill into law to legally resolve default issues in the sector. Review of Land Use Act of 1978. Review of Federal Government Housing Loans Board Bill. Review of the National Housing Fund Scheme Act 1992. Review of Mortgage Banks Act 1989, subsumed in BOFIA. Review of Federal Mortgage Bank of Nigeria Act 1993. Review of the Trustee Investment Act 1962. Review of the Nigeria Social Insurance Trust Fund Act 1993. Review of the Insurance Act 2002. Review of the Investment and Security Act 1999. Review of the Federal Housing Authority Act 1990. Climate Change Adaptation Policy. Policy creating the National Council on Housing for Sector Regulation. Securitization Bill and other affordable housing policies.
I am Dr. Sam Egu, Senate Committee Chairman on Housing. Keep watching Housing Development Program.
Welcome back. I hope the lawmakers concerned have taken note of those outstanding bills, and I hope the right things will be done to improve the housing sector. Now, for want of time, this is where we say goodbye. Thanks for staying with us so far on the program. If you just tuned in, not to worry. You can get all your miss by subscribing to our YouTube channel at Housing TV Africa to get details and more. Please don't hesitate to follow us on our social media pages on Facebook, on Twitter, and on Instagram at Housing Program. I'll see you next week. My name is Nomso Thelma.